Hello and welcome back to the Luxury Kingdom. Before we start, hit the red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. It's been a mentally exhausting week of news since the war broke out. We have seen airspace closure, we have seen rising fuel prices, and all the uncertainties. In this video, the experts are going to speak out about how all this is going to affect aviation. Russian aeroplanes are currently banned from accessing European Union, Canadian, and US airspace. Russia has also put restrictions on Western country aeroplanes using Russian airspace. So this has severely impacted the overflying Russian airspace between Asia and Europe. Just have a look at the current Japan Airlines flight from Tokyo to London. Instead of flying over Russia to the west, it flew east towards Alaska and Canada, then fly over to London. This has increased the airtime to 15 hours. There are still some airlines using the Russian airspace, such as the Chinese carriers, the Korean airlines, and also Air India. Today we have to expect that around between the Ukraine and Moldova in Europe, 230 daily flights will be cancelled between the European Union and Russia, 300 flights per day. That's the current situation. That means that closed airspace has a major impact on the operations. This, combined with a higher full price, which is expected to rise further, gives another burden for the airlines to recover from the COVID pandemic. Airlines have to detour their flights. For example, the Helsinki-Tokyo route, one of the most important flights for Finnair, is now 2,177 nautical miles long, which takes 286 minutes longer flying time. And Finnair now needs 13 hours flying time instead of 9 hours, or 9:30, from Helsinki to Tokyo. That also means, for Frankfurt-Tokyo, another major route, 1,017 nautical miles detouring with around 140 minutes extra flying time. Russia expects to have around 400 million euros per year in getting fees to overfly the Russian airspace. So for some flights over Russia to Asia, an airline will have to pay around 60,000 euros to fly once over Asia. So that's why the detours via other nations like Central Asia can be cheaper in terms of overflying fees, but you need more gasoline, more and more kerosene. So that makes it again more expensive. Manufacturers like Airbus, Boeing, and Embraer has all pulled out service from Russia. Russian airlines are prohibited from buying aeroplanes, spare parts, equipment, or services from its manufacturers. This is a serious blow to all the Russian airlines. Russia is less than 5% of total global commercial air travel, which only tells part of the story. Cutting off product support, spare parts, even navigation charts means that Russian airlines are likely to crumble, much the same way that Iran's airlines have been in the decades that followed 1979. Most of the roughly 950 aeroplane fleet is leased, meaning rented, to Russian airlines. About 500 of those aircraft are leased by international lessors based in places like Ireland, Singapore, and the US, and the Western sanctions require them to curtail their business in Russia by March 28. What we're looking at is likely cannibalization of the existing fleet using active aircraft for spare parts going forward. These aircraft will never fly again outside of Russia. One of the main companies suffering a lot will be the international aircraft leasing companies. You have to imagine that Russia has around 49,000 domestic flights last January, and you have around 60,000 domestic flights during the summer. One of the biggest lessors is AirCap from Ireland. I guess they have around 152 aircraft in Russia, which is about 5% of their entire fleet, which is leased to Russia. And this brings now quite a few problems for them, as they cannot expect that leasing rates will be paid or aircraft can be flown out from Russia as all the airspace is closed. So you might be wondering, if Russian airlines can't get access to Western aeroplanes, can they buy Russian aeroplanes? Because during the Dubai Air Show, I visited new Russian aeroplanes, the Irkut MC-21 and also the Sukhoi Superjets. Since the early 2000s, Russia has been trying to establish its homegrown aircraft industry once again. It has been making progress with a Sukhoi Superjet, a regional jet, and its Irkut MC-21. That's its answer to the Airbus A320 and Boeing 737 MAX. But both have been slowed by sanctions that have been put in place after the annexation of Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Irkut actually uses a Pratt & Whitney engine, and it was actually certified with that engine at the end of 2021, but now that's off the table. And right now, Irkut and United Engine Corporation is trying to accelerate development. This was before the war, using a Russian-made engine. Ultimately, the sanctions forced Russians to redesign major parts of those aeroplanes. We won't see them ready for service in any appreciable number shortly. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.